Hi, my name is Kim O'Neill, transformational confidence and interview coach, best-selling author, and host of the Everyday is a New Day podcast and live show. And I'm here to share with you 3 things every woman leader needs to know that nobody ever tells you. But we're going to start off with what actually feels like a fourth thing, is that if you are a woman who simply has set out to pursue her passions, her goals, her dreams, then inevitably you are on the journey to becoming a leader. To just even simply say yes to your goals and dreams, you've started down that pathway. So you may not have ever set out and said, yeah, I want to be a leader. And yet, if you're taking a stand for yourself and moving in the direction of what matters most to you, you are a leader. And bravo to you. Now, my key 3 things, I could say lots of things, but here's what shows up most that I want you to know is that number one, first and foremost, as you are pursuing your passions, moving in the direction of what you know you are meant to do, you are shifting your vibration. You are shifting your energy. And so, like with anything, when energy shifts in one place, it has a ripple effect and shifts in others. And you may not be expecting that to shift in your relationships with family, friends, maybe even colleagues. And so as you grow, as you evolve, it's very possible that some of your relationships may stay right there with you. Maybe you grow along aside each other, and others may simply fall away, may drift away, drift apart. And that can be very heartbreaking, can be a little sad. And so I don't say this to make you sad, but simply to give you a heads up, because the more that you stay attached to needing things to stay the same, all your relationships to stay the same, right? Trying to bring all the relationships that you already have built up, which actually are also a reflection of your past, right? Trying to bring all of your past with you into your present and your future is simply going to weigh you down. And it's going to make things more challenging. So just a simple heads up, you don't need to do anything, but just simply be aware that this is something that will likely shift and evolve over time. And there can be ways to easily, lovingly, respectfully allow relationships to transform. And absolutely, you will be making new connections, meeting new people as well as you continue to grow in your leadership role. So that's first and foremost something I never expected, and got easier the more that I chose to embrace it and accept that things were shifting. Secondly, it's so important to make sure that you have a balance between your head and your heart. And so if you're someone who may be already very, someone who tends to get very caught up in your head, then it's going to be important to balance things out with your heart, your emotions, your intuition, and vice versa. If you tend to be very connected to your heart, you want to balance out the headspace with a little bit more structure and focus. And so that's going to, look a little different for everybody. But the more balance you can have between those two aspects of who you are, then you are actually going to embody a more whole, balanced leader. And that's going to be reflected in your messaging, in your purpose that you are sharing with the world as you're shining as this leader. And so whenever you do have an imbalance, which is okay, because you are continually growing. We're all going to be continually growing our entire lives, regardless of where you are in moving forward and in being the leader that you are. As you have those moments of feeling out of balance, then that's simply an indication, okay, yeah, that's right. Let's go inside. Where might I benefit from doing some additional inner work, recalibrating internally? That internal recalibration absolutely gets reflected on your work, in your work on the outside. Third, really speaks to that imbalance piece is your self-care. So if you don't already have a really solid committed self-care practice, you will eventually learn at some point the value of that as you have those moments of feeling a little off balance. Having a committed self-care practice, it's not something that happens once in a while, happens only when you're feeling imbalanced. It's something that you want to develop as a practice every single day. The more you are committed to your self-care, the more you're committed to yourself, which means you actually show up as more of a whole person on a consistent basis in the work that you do, in what gets reflected outwardly. When you aren't as committed to yourself, other people can sense that, and it shows up in various ways. So the more that you are taking care of yourself, it's also a form of your self-respect, and that much more other people will also be respecting you as well. Lastly, I want to remind you that this is not about perfection. You're not here to be a perfect person. You're here to be the best you that you can be. And as you stay committed to that process, you become a leader. And I just want to say, the more you stay committed to who you are in your process, others are going to be so grateful to you, because it has a beautiful ripple effect that makes a very positive difference in the world.